both of them are empty. So let's just get right into creating a variable. What is a variable? What is a variable? Like I mentioned, a variable is a container that holds values. It's a container that holds values during program execution. So when the computer is executing executing code or instructions, this the values in the variable can change. So it's just a name. Let me show you what I mean. So we can say var. Var is the old way of declaring a variable in JavaScript. Let's say var my variable semicolon. So now I have created my variable. So this is how you create a variable, just using var, any name. A variable can be called anything. It could be first name var first name. Oh, let me give it here. In case it could be anything. Var first name var last name. It's just a variable is a name. It's just a name. So this name is the container now. So you can decide to say, so my variable, what value am I putting inside my variable? Let me give it an integer, let's say 10. So whenever my variable is called now, the computer is going to show what is inside my variable, that is 10. So whenever you call my variable, 10 is going to be displayed. Well, first name, let's say first name is equal to John, but this is a string now, John. So wherever I call first name, the computer is going to give me John. So let's print this out. To print, we use console.log, that is for JavaScript. Console.log, then you put the name of the variable. You're just trying to tell this IDE, please print out the value inside my variable and print out the value of first name. So let me run this code now. You can see the run button. There's a play button just by the top right corner here. So when I click on it, it runs the code. Just look down here and you can see the output. 10. Console.log, my variable is 10. Console.log first name is John. So this is how you declare your variable in JavaScript. But var is an old way of declaring your variable. Let me declare another variable using let. Let my val, this time around, val, semicolon, let my number. So I just created another variable. Let me assign values to this variable that I just created. So let's say my val now is going to be a string. Remember, notice that I'm using the semicolon after each statement. So my val, who's my val? Who's going to be my val? Let's say Jerome. Okay. My number is what? Let's say, oh, it's a number, not a string. Number 0, 8, 1, 2, 3, 8, 0, 9. So that's my number. So let's print it too. Let's say console.log my val semicolon console.log my number semicolon. So let's run our code again. Run. Let's push this up. So we can see, okay, it's running the entire program now. The first one, my variable is 10. First name is John. My val is Jerome. Well, my number. So I think there's an error. console. Oh, there's an error. Look at, now you see, we're going to talk about debugging. So if you look at my console now, my console is telling me that there's an error in this line. Look at console.log. I mean, it's showing me that I mistakenly typed 2n instead of 1. So that's why there's an error. So now I have fixed this error. Now let's rerun this program and see. Now you see the whole plenty lines of code has disappeared. So now you can see 809 as my number down here. So this is for variable declaration. And yeah, I talked about constants. So how do we declare a constant? What is a constant, by the way? I explained it before, but let me go over it again. A constant is like the opposite of a variable. A constant now cannot change. A variable can change during program execution. I can decide to change. Now this is my val. I can decide to change the value inside my val and give it another value. My val now is going to be equal to, who's going to be my val? Let's say Kenneth. Kenneth is going to be my val, right? So let me run this program again. Now you see my val is no longer Jerome. My val is now Kenneth. So you see the value of my val can change. The value of a variable can change during program execution, but a constant cannot change. That's why it's called a constant. It is constant, and constant is defined with the keyword const, which stands for constant. So when you write const, JavaScript understands that this is a constant. So it means the value of this constant cannot change. So const, let's say last name, semicolon. I think there's too much space here. Const, last name equal to Austin, semicolon. So now this constant, the value of this constant cannot change throughout the program execution. It's going to remain Austin. It's going to remain Austin. It's not going to change. Let me try. Let me print the last name out. Console.log, and we have last name, right? Yeah. Let me try changing. Let's run the code first before I try changing it. Let's run this code. Okay. Yep. Now I see this is Austin. Let me try changing Austin and print it out again. Const last name equal to baby. See, it's already throwing an error. It's trying to tell me that no, look at, it's underlining the two of them. It's trying to say that you cannot redeclare block. So one thing I forgot to mention is you cannot redeclare a variable. I think what I did before was redeclaring a variable or a constant. Whether a variable or a constant, you can redeclare them. Let's say let my val equal to my. See that it is underlining them because this variable has already been declared. Cannot redeclare the block scoped variable, this. And the same thing goes for a constant. You cannot redeclare a constant last name equal, say, okay. It cannot happen. Whether for constant or for variable, it cannot happen. So let's remove that. But for constant, you cannot reassign value to an already declared constant. So we say constant last name is Austin. So we're not trying to redeclare it anymore We're trying to assign another value to last name. So that's why it's not throwing any error for now. That's for now. But for my val, that we already reassigned another name to my val. My val used to be Jerome, now it's Kenneth. But variable does not have any problem with that because it can change during program execution. But a constant cannot change during program execution. So it is going to complain about this particular one because it is a constant. Now let us print it out. Let's try to run this code and see what it's going to say. Now you see the error, console log last name, reference error, last name is not defined. So this is the error. You cannot reassign to a constant. You cannot reassign a value. So that's why it is constant, but it can happen for a variable because it can change during program execution, but a constant cannot change during program execution. So let me comment this out. Right? I put in this double stroke. So this comment is telling the computer to ignore this file. Just ignore this file. This is not executable. Just leave it out. So now let me run this program again. Now you see that everything is working just the way they should. So a variable can change during program execution, but a constant cannot change. It is constant. That is the way it's going to remain throughout that project, throughout that program. So I think this better explains everything. So using the IDE helps you to debug, helps you to find errors, helps you to know what you're doing wrong, how to correct, so that you know how to correct it. You correct it earlier on before it causes you further problems in the future. So if you have any question, please, I always say, don't forget to reach out. Reach out, ask your question in our community, and you're going to get clarification. If there's anything you want to know, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next lesson.